My name is Abby. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you the real reason you have limiting beliefs. It's not what you think. I'm going to be using this picture right here. This here will blow your mind and how you see limiting beliefs. And most importantly, if you watch until the end of this video, you're going to understand how to change them. So let's get started. So this idea came to me a couple days ago, and I literally sat in my seat and I could not believe it. The simplicity of it, but also how profound it shifted my view of how I saw limited beliefs. And also too, how you can actually re-reason and change your perspective so it's not quite as powerless feeling, because I've always felt that way. Like, I have this belief, how am I going to change it? Everything in the outside world is showing the belief. How do I get out of that cycle? But understanding this part that I'm going to show you can absolutely change everything. And it's my hope that it shatters and blows your mind the same way it did mine. Now, first though, I want to cover and make sure you understand how massive beliefs are, especially limiting ones. I'll use that term loosely, and how much it affects your life. So when you start to change them, you automatically change what you can see because you shift the lens of what you're looking through. So first, let's get into why do beliefs matter? Well, contrary to popular opinion, you have beliefs and you could feel absolutely that they are true. Well, beliefs aren't true. They're an idea that you hold to be true. That means they're not universally true. That's where we have this concept of limiting beliefs, these ideas that you have faith in that are actually holding you back from the reality that you're wanting to create. Break down how they're working right now in your life and holding you back, or how you're really seeing the world. Because especially too, I get a lot of comments of, I don't even understand, like, how can I see past this? All of these things are happening in my outside world and they continue to make me feel like I'm not good enough, like I'm not worthy, like I'm not lovable, because you're looking at the outside and it's perpetuating this belief. But I want to show you what's really happening. Most of this is based on the misunderstanding of our previous experience, right? Whatever happened to you at 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, it's already happened. You've forgotten about it consciously, but your subconscious has not forgotten about it. So even though you look out in the world, you're like, I have free choice. I am an adult. Let me go live my life. Oh God, I can't seem to get the things I want. Or maybe when it comes to romantic relationships, this pattern continues to repeat, even though people may go in and out. Or maybe it's about money. No matter how hard I try, no matter what I work with, I continue to have barely enough or a little bit less than what I need. Whatever the dynamic, anything in your life right now that continues to repeat, I want you to understand this. So whatever happened to you when you were growing up, and again, this is not a permanent thing, but when you understand it, you can make a new choice. So if you grew up and you're adult caregivers, right? Maybe you had a desire to connect, but everyone was busy. So you're going to say, not important, right? This is what little you perceived about yourself based on this experience. So this idea you have faith in because you have an experience, right? And so maybe if this happened, you might think, oh, okay, so the idea is I'm not important. So another belief could be I have to earn love or attention, okay? Another situation that could happen is maybe when you were growing up, your caregivers actually were aggressive to you or they were mean to you. And so you took it as you're not good enough. And so one of the beliefs you could have is the only way that I stay safe is if I'm alone. Because when I go to connect, like another one could be connection equals pain. Okay, so these are very understandable. This happened to you, right? This thing, like the adults showed you weren't important, right? They didn't give you the attention. But then you created a belief that I have to earn this, right? Or, you know, you had more aggressive parents and then you're saying, okay, I'm not good enough. Maybe they told you that shitty thing. That's not true. But the most important thing I want you to see is these things were created based on your experience as a kid. But what happens current day is you're not seeing with a clear slate, a tabula rasa. After 4 years of taking Latin, I finally was able to use it. So that means clean slate. So you don't see the world tabula rasa. That's 2 times I got to use it. You see the world through those early on experiences because you interpreted your worth according to that early on experience. And the issue becomes you continue to look through it. Okay, so it's important to understand how this all works, because if you keep seeing the outside, but it's through the lens of the old, well, no wonder you keep finding the old, because the only thing you're able to perceive of is this. You basically have I'm not good enough glasses on in the world, not because you want to do it, because that's how you've stayed safe. So when you start to understand, oh, okay, I keep getting a reflection of that belief. It's not all of my potential, but I've got to work through some stuff and clear out some stuff, just like this, if I want to change the beliefs that are in alignment with the desired reality that I want. Resistance can only come from two opposing forces. Now I'm going to get into what this means, so don't worry. But if there's a point in your life, maybe it's financial, maybe it's romantic, maybe it's with your career, and it's a point of stress, a point of tension. So what is this, right? Well, on one side, you have desires. Maybe it's a desire to have a loving partner. Maybe it's a desire to have financial security by way of $1 million, right? So you have those, okay? And on this other side is deemed as not safe according to your unconscious. So this right here, this arrow is actually safety. It's pushing you back and keeping this limitation of how you can express, because to express over here is not safe according to your past. So you've got your dreams and your desires over here, but where they exist, which is, over here, the beliefs that you'll need to have are over here. But your unconscious is saying, that's not safe, we can't do that. So push against it, keep them over here. You have leftover beliefs. Since you can't have the beliefs over here, which is worthy, which is whole and complete, right? If when you were little, and during all the stuff growing up, if you tried to express yourself and you said these things that maybe other people didn't understand, and you really, shined your light, and they said, don't be so selfish. Don't make other people feel bad because you're being in your highest light. That might make somebody else uncomfortable. So you're like, oh no, I've done wrong. So it was not safe for you to be your fullest expression, whole and complete, or radiant, or live in your talents. So the only thing was the leftover beliefs, right? Which was not good enough and not important. So understanding that part of this whole thing is your unconscious idea that it's not safe to be worthy because what happened when you were little, right? If you were to say in that first situation when your parents aren't giving you attention and you're thinking, oh, I'm not important, if you were to go out and get your need met, or if you were to raise your voice like, hey, mom, dad, what are you doing? Well, aren't you ungrateful? How dare you? We give you all these things and it's not enough. So that could have made you feel like, oh no, when I ask for my needs, I'm bad, or I get rejected, or I get negative attention. So what does that mean? Those ways of expressing are not going to be safe. So this arrow, this tension, this pressure to keep you safe, and again, realize this is self-preservation. This is out of self-love, because this is dangerous. We got to stay over here. But over here, you're like, oh, but I can't reach my dreams. I have these desires. But they're right now the only things, the leftover beliefs that I can have are not good enough or not important. Because these that I need to have, you'll need to feel worthy, you'll need to feel whole and complete, you'll need to feel good enough so that you can get the reflection of that. Life is a giant mirror. So if you're stuck and I'm not good enough, I'm not important, but I have these dreams and desires, oh, but it's not safe to do it, you'll continue to be in a rut. You'll continue to spend your energy. You'll continue to try to apply the techniques, and you look out in your outside world and you're like, nothing's changing. Yeah, because inside it doesn't feel safe. And your subconscious and your sense of safety will always override your desires, because this is a self-preservation mechanism. So what do we got to do? We got to start realizing, oh, unconsciously, I'm holding it to be true. I'm putting faith that if I speak up for myself, if I say how I feel, I'm going to get rejected, or I'm going to get negative attention. So in that second example where I talked about not being good enough, if your parents are ridiculing you and you actually raised your voice and said something, not yelling, but actually spoke up for yourself, what kind of negative attention, potentially physically dangerous attention, would you have gotten? So if you're applying the dynamics from that past situation to your current situations, unconsciously, you're looking through that lens again. So you've got to look and see what's happening, starting to become conscious, become aware of what makes you feel unsafe. Really look at it. Okay, well, if I did have $1 million, would I feel safe? What fears could come along with that? Oh, well, I might be alienated. People who I'm close to now might judge me. They might want something from me, and I don't even want that. So unconsciously, you might be saying, I don't actually want $1 million. There's a lot of headaches in there. I want the privileges of having $1 million, but again, if you don't feel that, if you don't feel safe in that dynamic, you will not be able to see it in your outside world. Even if everything you needed was right in front of you, you wouldn't be able to perceive it because that would lead you straight to danger, danger. So as you start to understand these tension points, where is the stress in your life? Dive into it. Okay, what makes me feel not safe? If I had a partner, if I had somebody to come to me and say, oh my gosh, you're wonderful, would I feel uncomfortable? Like, oh my gosh, if they come closer, they're going to see the real me. So all that self-rejection, that idea that if I'm seen, I'm not safe, or I'll be exposed, or I'll be humiliated, you've got to get clear on that. You've got to use your mind to go back to whatever situation that came up, not the very first one and not all of them, but see yourself in a different light in those early experiences. Realize you deserved more, you needed more. Emotionally, you needed more from your environment. So you were not the insufficient one, you were not the one asking for you too much, you are not the one at fault. No one's at fault, but the one that fell short was your caregiver. The adult in that moment fell short, and you've been thinking it's you the whole time. Also thinking that it's not safe to be your fullest expression. So starting to just think about that. And you could even, before you go to sleep, ask your dreams. I've done this before. What is it that I'm too afraid to see? It's now safe for me to see. What is it that I've been unaware of for so long that might be holding me back? It's safe for me to see that. Doing things like this can actually allow your subconscious to present the information that is within you. But again, it's been stored away for a reason. So be gentle, be compassionate with yourself, but also be aware that danger, not feeling safe, you will have to feel safe for something to manifest. If not, you will feel like it could potentially even a physical sense of danger. So the more you understand, oh, those tension spots, these two opposing forces, safety, how can I start realizing, oh, it's actually safe for me to now be my fullest expression. And I get this safety going over here, that this is the safe zone. So then I can evolve over here and start really embodying those, literally feeling it in my body, sending out thoughts, having thoughts, and it won't be so strenuous. It won't be so, oh, I have to go do my affirmations or I have to do this technique. It will simply be. You weren't trying before on these more negative experiences that you might have had. You weren't trying to manifest those. Those are reflecting a deep, deep belief. So in order to do it, you really start to have to ask yourself, the idea of a limiting belief is simply a leftover belief. That's the only beliefs that are safe to have because you've lived through them and you've stayed alive. And even though it's painful and miserable, you're still alive. So the more you start to see this and break down this barrier and know that you as an adult can keep yourself safe, you can start choosing the beliefs that you want to have as opposed to whatever's left over. The more and more you do this, the more you will create the reality you love. Understanding how to create safety within your new beliefs is vital. And this next video right here is going to go even deeper on how you can start believing it before you see it.